Wicked, 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 wicked. Wicked tones, you know.
A lot of people do this. There's like a lot of different ways and angles to do this machine, since a lot of people probably have this in their gym. Like I teach different ways, like rolling in. So I'm shifting my weight this way and I'm rolling out on my outer quad, flexing up. There's also more like static ways to do it. So it's always digging in off this edge with the bottom of my hamstring right above my knee. So I'm digging on this edge and I'll basically oblique crunch to this side so that I'm almost looking straight down the barrel of my quad. Like if this is like gonna be imagine a barrel right out here. So I'm leaning forward, I'm not back here. I'm just relaxed down and crunched into my oblique here so that when I sweep out, I can push out through. So I'm holding onto this handle and I'm pulling myself down into the seat, crunching harder. So my hips coming up and then rocking down. I'm up, down, but I'm holding on here so I'm not moving that much, just rocking through. So right from the bottom, it's shin pressure. So my foot's not cocked up like this and like making my hip flexor grab. It's just me catching on shin, sweeping through shin, and then grabbing quad. So I can lock out anytime I want. If I want to pin that weight there and squeeze, I can. Or I can just flex to a point and rock down. Just an easier, a better way to keep tension on this machine because this thing is kind of like all over the place. Like people don't know where to base themselves. You'll see guys doing like this, and like kicking. They're not really getting much quad, they're just kicking the machine forward, right? So this way we're hunched here and I'm pressing down into here and pulling up on this handle so that I'm just flexing shin right out through. So I end up looking down the line of my leg and flexing through. Whenever I kick, I'm leaning this way, throwing that way. So I'm digging down into the seat and extending my quad. I usually start light to get like a little blood in the hamstrings. I promote this like rocking, just firing up and driving through. But when it's light, I just base my weight down in the seat and I have my heels already have tension, so I'm already holding that off the stack. So my hamstring's already engaged and I'm already pressed my weights down here so that I'm just rocking up and sliding. So I want to relax that hamstring at the bottom and stretch out and then grab again. So I'm just trying to rock through, trying to get full extension and let my hamstring relax and then grab it back before I move on to heavier weights where I want to lock in the range and be here and rocking. Even at the top here, people are in a rush to get out. You should be able to stay here. Even if there's half the stack on there, which there is, right? I should be able to hold here and keep my my hamstrings engaged because my glutes working, my hips are pressed down. So I'm relaxed here. I'm not relaxed here, but I'm super relaxed here because I'm locked into my body and my back, right? Rocking through. So don't think that it's just like, huh, and like, huh. It's like, no, get comfortable at the bottom and slide through. So I'm almost pressing myself up, holding myself down. My knee feels weird for the past few weeks because of something I did, I'm sure. But instead of not training or spending 4 hours fucking trying to figure out exactly the mechanics of what happened to my knee, I'm just gonna get lots of blood in there and just keep training, doing what doesn't bother it. It's a fucking crazy concept. It's wild. Path it's on, if you try it, like it feels smoother. Some leg presses are better for like bigger guys and others are better for little people. Or this Panada one is, I go between the Panada and this hammer strength. I don't really use any other leg press in here. I use that hinge one sometimes there that they're using, but the one on the other side, just because it's like as soon as you take it off, there's load, like there's instant tension. I just find that the arc on that Cybex gets weird. Like it gets to a point where there's no tension. It's like you get too low and you almost like lose all tension, then you have to catch it again. Whereas this is like, this is more, it's moving like this on you and it's arcing back. It's like a true arc. Like it's almost like a squat sitting down, which is basically, sounds stupid as shit, but that's basically what it feels like, right? It allows you to sink your hips a lot more. And the thing that's good about this Pinata is that it has the adjustable foot pad. There's a lot of overheads that are just fucking awfully, like horribly designed. So I really wouldn't use, there isn't an overhead I'd use if I didn't have to. If I couldn't use that. Your basic overhead, even the Atlantis one, is a little better because there's a little bit of an angle on it, but there's another one on the other side. I think it's like an older version of Atlantis. It's like above you and flat. It's like if my feet are coming at me, I don't know whose legs just go like, like flat right at you, especially if you're a bigger guy, which a lot of guys, this is a bodybuilding gym, so odds are, it's tough for, this Pinata is really good for making machines that take into account all sizes of people, right? I don't know whether that's on purpose or there's just some massive bodybuilders in Italy, but a lot of people make, this is something we're gonna talk about. It's like when they do leg presses or any type of leg movement, it's almost like this, they have this desire, obviously not in this weight, but this desire to like have everything tense here, and there's like very little weight in my feet. Like, see how I can move my feet right now? I should never be able to do that. That's showing you that all the weight's like pinned here and I'm supporting this weight in my body. So I just have my feet holding it like dainty hands, holding a bench press weight above me. So if I have this no tension here and my weight's not buried in my feet, when I come down, it's just like, get it off of me, right? So whereas like, if I take this off, so if I get myself set where I wanna be, and I'm pressed back, my hips down and my back's on the back pad, all I'm doing here is extending my feet. So I just pressed out. And now if you touch my feet, I can't lift my feet. I can move my toes, but my whole foot is dug in. So if I do that, and I sit here, and I keep that same idea, my hip's gonna sink, my knees are gonna drive up. My knees don't open. My hip sits down, so I fold into my hip, and I hold on here, stay up tall, so I can keep this range open, so I'm not here. So I'm gonna allow this to lift up into me, and I'm gonna drive. So I can hold this position down here because all the weight's here and in my back pad, and I can press off. I'm not in a rush to get weight off of me, right? So if I settle here and sink hip, bend knee, feet catches the weight. So hip goes down, knees goes up, feet catch, feet throw, right? A lot of people make this mistake, especially on things like hack squat, where it's like if they take this off, we'll just do it on this. So they'll take off, you see these guys with massive loads on hack squat, any of these, same shit, doesn't matter. So I take this off and I stand up and instantly everything's here. So again, I'm light feet. I'm gonna have 5 plates on here, but I'm tensing my shoulders and my traps and my chest, and the fact that you can move your feet this easily means you're not in your feet. So better to take off and be a quarter rep into your feet and feel that base where my weight is dispersed through my feet. Then I can position myself, right? And the weight's sitting on me. I'm not resisting the weight. I'm resisting the weight down there, so when I sit into things and I drop down, I can drive off. I'm not going like this. And then pushing the upper body up through here. So getting it far enough down, or getting the weight to go down, and then springing off, using my body to push stuff up. And that's the thing, is when people start to understand that it's about sitting in your hips and creating this, basically this cushion where I'm spread out in my feet, wherever stance I want to be in. I'm putting that weight into the floor if I'm standing here. I'm not going to squat down to the floor and go like this and like keep my weight up top. I'm just going to fall to the floor, whether I'm in tight, wherever I am. I could be wide, falling into the floor. So I'm pushing into the floor, pushing off. I'm not going, see what I mean? Like, I don't know if people understand that, what I'm trying to say. So it's like you're pinning the load on your upper body and your back and your chest, your spine, everything's locked down and engaged. When it should be your first thought is, yes, take it off with posture. Don't take don't have 5 plates on the hack squat and stand up like this. Like, gotta think about my feet. It's like, no, just push up, let the weight sit on you. It's just sitting on me. It's not gonna crumble my body. As long as I keep my sternum up, I'm in posture. I don't need to be like, I'm about to fucking launch into fucking orbit. Do you know what I mean? So it's like I take off and I sit into my feet and I find that spot where my hips relax. So they're no longer here, they're here. And I can sit down into things, push up. See, if the weight gets heavy, yes, I get stuck here, I drive out of that hole. I'm not trying to get here and go, ah, and launch my upper body out, right? You'll see that in gyms everywhere, especially fucking here. Not to shit on people, but like this, like, oh, we did 6 plates aside on a hack squat. Yeah, we also had 2 spotters and gutted out 20 reps with like 3/4 worth of help on every rep. And then you're wondering, yeah, I'm not saying it's not hard. It's fucking hard. You move the weight. That's not the goal though. That's not the goal. This is not powerlifting. You're not getting a medal for that. Your legs aren't growing, you lost. That's a simple fact. You lost that exercise. You lost that workout. If you're not stimulating growth as a bodybuilder on every rep, every set, why are you here? I really don't get it, because nothing's happening then. We're not awarded for how much weight we lift. We're awarded for how much muscle we can pack on our frame, and also how good we can make it look, right? So just coming in here every week being like, because I've done it too. The reason why I can talk about this shit is because I've done it all. I'm not better than people, but I saw the error of my ways, like I've said, and understood like I needed to change things up. I was like, man, this is not working. Like, I'm doing leg day every week. I want to fucking die after. I want to die midway through it, but nothing's happening because I'm not connecting, right? So when I lowered these weights and I started understanding about connecting and like grounding into the feet and understanding that now my feet are my hands of my lower body and I'm creating that tension and then I'm sitting into my hips, and then I started to connect more. And yeah, my weights weren't as dramatic, but my pumps and my engagement was through the roof. Like, my legs are cramping right after the workout, not later on at night when my legs are just neurologically fucked and not firing. It's like, that's what you want, guys. Like, this coming in here and killing leg days is a fucking great thing, and it should be done by everybody. But let's do it in an intelligent way that's like productive. You moving 10 plates on a hack squat with your fucking knees wrapped, fucking 2 guys spotting you, banging off the bottom, out of the bottom. It's like, it puts on a good show, but there ain't much fucking substance there. It's the same idea here. Leg press is gonna be the same thing today for me because I'm having issues with squatting stuff. Like, I just feel kind of odd in my knee, so I don't want to push that issue too much. It's like the same thing here. When I push off here, a lot of people be in the overhead, they're way too far underneath it, first of all. You should feel like your chest is above your knees. The same positioning I'm in when I'm leg pressing regularly, my knees would fall here, is where they want to feel here. I don't want them to fall onto me and my butt to roll out of the seat, right? So if I pin myself here and I start getting pressure in my feet now, so I'm strong in my feet now. I'm pushing my hip into that pad and I'm extending. So I'm no different than I was when I started. Nothing changed. All I did was connect to my feet, lock my knee out, catch. So now I'm pinned here. I can stay here because I'm stuck in my hip. No, I'm not moving anywhere. I can't fucking wiggle out of here, right? So it's the same thing here. I'm gonna take a tighter stance to allow my knees to move out towards my armpits. I'm gonna stay up tall, and I'm gonna let that break towards me and drive. That's why there shouldn't be panic to get out of the bottom too. So if I lift up here, I can pin here, squeeze through. All I'm doing is pushing knees up, flattening knees out, keeping tension on quad. So I'm just pushing knees back towards me, flexing and digging into hip, push, chest up, push, push, push. It doesn't need to be this, like, people take this off and immediately from the fucking time the knee breaks, it's this panic, like, it's gonna kill me, right? It's like, you have the mechanical advantage on that. If your hips dug in and weight's above you, you're super powerful. A lot of times you'll see like me do heavy and heavy with drops with people, but it also helps if you're understanding like the first exercise might be heavy, so we can only get so many reps. So the second exercise is just basically to burn out what you had left in the tank still, right? I'm not trying to like set world records again on the second exercise, but just kind of how I envision it, right? So is the weight gonna go up over there? Probably, but not to like crazy levels, just enough to stimulate. Plus there's like a fine line with overheads where it's like, oh, it's getting heavy, and now it's fucking too heavy. And it's like, next thing you know, you're like, back's fucked. So like, I don't want to do like any heavy hacks right now or squatting motions, just because the issue I had with my knee is starting to feel better. So I'm just going to give it another week or two. And not that it would be crazy impressive what I was about to do there either, but I'd rather limit the range of motion of my knee on these squatting style movements, just so I can engage more quad and not have to bend down so far. This machine's good because it teaches you to sit in your hip first. So I'm sitting into here first, and I'm driving up through. I'm pushing my back flat against that back pad and driving straight out. I'm not trying to squat. Don't waste 3 hours of your life seeing Batman. You get a free review right now. It's garbage. After 2 hours, you'd be like, oh my God, is this over? And then you realize you got another hour left. And you're just stuck there. Soft ass Batman.